Hi, it's Diederik Gelderman here. Welcome to part 4. Welcome to week 4, in fact, of your veterinary practice profit formula. So far over the last few weeks, we've talked about leadership, team, and then last week it was all about how to find and attract and retain those awesome clients that you love working with. I've moved programs into our 5th module because I had a lot of demand to talk about finances, and that's really interesting because, look, vets typically hate finances, and I'll back to that in a couple of minutes. Now, just a quick word of warning. I've split this week's training into 2 videos. The first one on KPIs and the second one on financial data. And I've done that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I thought that one video was just a little bit too long. The other videos at 30 minutes were just touching on getting a little bit long anyway. And the second thing, these will be now 2 very easily digestible chunks. So 2 videos to make it easier for you to consume. So this is training number 4. It's all about managing your KPIs and managing your practices. Managing your KPIs and managing your practices finances quickly and easily. And this is part 1, the KPIs. So in this training video today, we're going to learn why most practices struggle financially. And let's be honest, at an 8.5 to a 9.5% net profit all over the world for the sort of investment and time and everything that we have, that's hopeless. It's just hopeless when, McDonald's and a lot of the spec savers and franchises and all this sort of stuff, they're netting 20%. It's just crazy. Accounting, lawyers over 40%. So we're in a really bad situation. So we're also going to learn what the cost to you and your family will be if you don't start to do something about managing your practice's KPIs and your practice's finances. I'm also going to, and I haven't talked about this for a while actually, I'm also going to let you in on my story of financial failure, what I did to get back in the black, literally, how to be profitable after almost going broke, and how you too can implement this simple system in your practice. You're also going to learn that you don't need to be an accountant and you don't need to have a financial or an accounting degree to be able to manage your practice KPIs and your finances. And in fact, you can do it in less than 30 minutes a month on each of those. So it's a total of 60 minutes a month. Now, you're also going to learn what KPIs are critical to your success and just what those KPI numbers should be. And then the same with the financial data. What financial data is critical to your success and just what those numbers should be in your practice. Alrighty, let's get started. Veterinarians typically hate and ignore finances and hate and ignore their financials and their practice performance data. Typically, they only see them once a year when they get their annual tax return from their accountant. Are you like that? Or maybe you're a little bit more proactive and look at it, heaven forbid, twice a year even. That would put you in the top echelon of, accounting, responsible accounting in financial accounting in a veterinary practice. Unbelievable. Now, and that's, I'll just go back this slide. And the reason I've got this lovely lady in here with the dog and the cat and the bird, we hate finances, and the reason we hate it is because we love pets like she does, and we want to help them. We want to help their owners, and so it's a totally understandable mindset that we want to work with the pets and the people, and therefore we ignore the finances, not because we want to, but it just happens by default. We're not accountants. We're not financial type people. We'd have gone in another degree if we were financial type people. And we hate those sort of numbers and spreadsheets. We'd much rather be doing a good consult or digging around in a dog's abdominal cavity or something like that, trying to fix something. But this is a recipe for disaster, and from a number of perspectives. And I'll keep this really brief, even though I could literally bang on about this and keep you engaged for half a day. I've got so many stats on this stuff. Your current scenario, if you're the typical practice owner all over the world, I don't care where you work, if your current typical scenario is that 75% of veterinarians will retire on less than the median wage. Okay, your current scenario is that most veterinary practice owners barely eke out a living from their practice. There's certainly no real reward for the time, the effort and the expertise that you put into your practice, especially when you compare it to some other similar industries and professions. Now, your future scenario is 75% of all vets retire on less than the median wage. Is this fair? Do you know that 80% of veterinarians currently have less than 50,000? That's 50,000, not 500,000. 80% of vets have less than 50,000 put away for their retirement. It's shocking. And the last thing you really need to know, that the practice bubble multiple is about to burst. Now, what do I mean by that? Look, currently when you're selling your practice, you can sell it for a good multiple. When someone buys your practice, they'll buy it for a multiple of your average profit over the last 2 or 3 years, and it's prorated for EBIT and EBITDA and all that sort of stuff. But let's be really simple. Whatever your practice is currently making as a net profit, typically someone's going to pay you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 times that for to buy that income stream or that income source for themselves. Now, at the moment, we're getting really, really, really good multiples. Well, that is about to stop, okay? In the next few years, this is all going to change. So if you're going to sell your practice 2, 3, 4 years down the line, and you're going to rely on a good multiple for your sale price, and that's what you're relying on to get your retirement nest egg, well, forget about it. You're not, unless you're very lucky, you're not going to get it. So it's now time to start paying just a little bit of attention to your practice's finances and to your KPIs, so that you can do a number of things, that you can get a fair return for the work that you put in today, a fair return for the work and effort that you put in today. Also, so that you can ensure that for yourself, that you put away enough so that you can retire to a fair and a reasonable lifestyle. So you can retire on a fair and reasonable lifestyle. So you can put away enough for your retirement. And before we move on, let's be just blunt here. The largest number of these phone calls that I call the help me phone calls, the largest number of help me phone calls or help me type phone calls that I receive are about no cash, no profits, can't pay my staff, can't pay my bills, I'm scared I'm going broke. Those 5 things. And you know what? In the whole time that I've been doing this, since 2004, I've only ever found one practice that I couldn't help and help resolve those problems quickly and easily and in less than 6 months. So most of you who are watching this video, and if you've got those bells going off in your head about lack of current income, lack of retirement income, no cash, no profits, struggling to pay my staff, you really need to be aware, and this is a great thing, you need to be aware that no matter how bad it is, it's easily fixed. Once you action the things that we're talking about today and the things that we talked about in the last 3 videos and the thing that we're going to talk about in the next video. So action these 5 training videos, especially this one, and you'll be able to turn your situation around quickly and easily. Look, before we go on any further, I just need to explain a couple of things, and I just need you to listen in, I guess. And I want to share 2 things. Number 1, why I'm so passionate about this subject, and number 2, why I'm qualified to talk about this subject and why you should listen to me. And you probably noticed that my voice has gone down a little bit, and the reason it is because I'm getting goosebumps, because every time I look back at the way it was for me, I feel embarrassed, I feel angry, I feel annoyed, I feel stupid, in fact. I get goosebumps and yeah, having hot flushes and all this sort of stuff. So I'm going to share my story, and I'll share it very briefly because it makes me very anxious when I talk about this. It's still so raw, even though it was quite a while ago. So I'll briefly share part of my story. So make it very quick. Now I practice, and that is a picture of my house, 152 Law Street, East Maitland. I practice from the side. You can actually, you can't quite see the practice side from here. It's a little bit further on the right hand side behind that gum tree. I practice from the side of my house in a 2-vet practice from 1976 when I graduated till 1996. I did very well, thank you very much, financially speaking. And we saw the accountant once a year to sign the tax return and collect all the financial stuff. I built this $1.2 million facility, and that's an image of it there, Green Hills Veterinary Hospital, purpose-built, state-of-the-art, architect design and all that sort of stuff. And the staffing went from, it was 2 vets, a nurse and a receptionist. So 2 vets, a nurse and a receptionist, to here where we had 4 vets, a practice manager, 3 nurses, a kennel person, and 2 receptionists. And the bills, especially the rent and the wages bills, they just went through the roof. Now, the first year of the new facility was okay. The profit wasn't nearly as good as it previously been, but nothing scary because I didn't know it yet, but the expenses hadn't really kicked in. Now, in the second year, so I went to the accountants in the second year. Oh, I'm sorry, I've done it again. I'm just all thumbs when I talk about this. In the second year, I went to the accountants to sign the tax returns. And we typically got our tax returns done just before the tax deadline. So this is 9 months after the end of the financial year. So in Australia, the end of financial year is 30 June. So we typically went to the accountants in, March or April. We tried to delay it as long as possible so that we could delay paying tax. Well, this year it backfired on me because when we went to the accountants in March, April that year, I found that I'd lost $150,000. I'll be blunt, I shat myself. Okay, but we sold it on. We thought it was just one of those things. But the next year, I said to the accountant, "Hey, we got to know our numbers earlier, and I want to have that sort of thing happen again." And so this time we went in well before the tax deadline. We actually went in just before Christmas. So this was actually in 6 months after the end of the financial year this time. And hey, I felt really good. Well, really good, relatively speaking. I say that with a wry smile on my face. We'd only lost $75,000. Now I can smile now, well, sort of smile, but I certainly didn't smile then. Actually, I just shat myself again. I'd lost $250,000 in just 2 years. Now, if I'd kept that up, I was going to lose everything I'd ever worked for. Everything I'd ever worked for, including my family home that I, was still paying off. I'd lose the family home and we'd have to move the kids in a rental and all that sort of stuff. That was shocking. So something had to change. And now we get to this image. That's what changed. I elected to get coached by Michael Gerber, this guy in the Gerber system. And if you haven't read his book, The E-Myth or The E-Myth Revisited, please have a read of it. Now, this system spent we spent 24 months working on high-end finances, as well as many other things, and working on many other things like marketing and all sorts of stuff. But look, let's make a long story really short. It worked, and you can put the word worked in capitals. That's how well it worked. Everything was fixed, but this system was so complicated. I hated numbers. I love being a vet, and I want to spend my time being a vet, not not managing numbers. So I got really frustrated and angry, and I simplified it and simplified it and simplified it and simplified it. And eventually I managed to, dumb it down for, simple old me, who doesn't know too much about finances or financial management at all, so that even I could manage the practice finances and the key performance data in just 60 minutes a month. So that's what we're going to share today is that system. I'm going to give you a really brief overview of it, enough to get you started on the right track so that you can get stuck in, because I don't want to see you make the same mistakes that I did. I don't want you to go as close to losing the family house as I did. I don't want anything like that to even be remotely, in your realm, as it were. So first of all, let's talk about the KPIs, or the key performance indicators, or the key performance data. Now, you need to put a methodology in place that you have this data on your desk within 1 week of the end of the previous month. In other words, the February data should be there the 7th day of March. The March data should be there 7th day of April, etc., etc. Now, you can easily get someone on your team to strip this data out of your practice management software and then print it out for you and put it on your desk. All the stuff that I'm going to give you today in your KPIs and in the second part of this video on finances, you can all get out very, very simply out of practice management software. Very easy. So let me here share with you the must track KPIs, okay? The must track key performance indicators, or the must track key performance data. Now, I'm also, as well as the must track, I'm going to give you a set of extra KPIs, and they'll be on a separate slide. So must track. You must track, you need to track the key drivers of your veterinary business, okay? Since every practice is a little bit different, and since every practice has a slightly different focus, these key KPIs that I'm going to go through now are not absolute to every practice, but they're going to be a really, really good starting point. And you can easily yourself throw one or two out and add a couple of extra in if your focus is just a little bit different. So I'm going to give you here, as you can see from the line that I've already put there, I'm going to give you the KPI, in this case, financial vaccination recall or annual health check, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to give you the target that you can easily achieve, 75%. And then I'm going to give you the target that you can achieve. This target is a possible target if you put in a bit of work and efforts. So it doesn't matter whether you call it vaccination recall or annual health check or whatever you want to call it. You can easily, with the correct system, get 75% of your patients back on an annual basis. And that's easily, and 85% is possible with a little bit of extra work. I've put plenty of videos on YouTube about how you can achieve this. All you need to do is go to one of those videos and copy that system, or give me a yell and I'll talk you through it. Now, the next thing is the revisit of primary disease cases within 3 months. So out of every 100 primary disease cases, within 3 months, you should be getting 32 or 33 back. Now, again, I've put a video out on this as to why it's important. It's gold standard, contemporaneous medicine, etc., etc. So I won't go into that today. Your dental income as a percentage of your gross fee turnover should be 8%. So if you've got $1 million turnover practice, $80,000 a year should be coming in as dentistry, or 80,000 euros or whatever. With a bit of work and effort, you can make that 100,000 euros, 10%. Now, new clients coming by referral. So new client comes in the door, you ask them, how did you learn about us? Half of them should be saying, my friend Josie told me, or my friend Kathy told me. With a bit of work and effort and a good referral program, you can get that up to 85%. Now, practice profitability has a statistical link with new clients coming by referral. So let's put it simply, the more clients you get coming by referral, the more profitable your practice is likely to be. So this is another really, really good one. New clients per veterinarian per month, about 15. The average practice runs at about 8 to 10 new clients per vet per month. A good practice runs at 15, and you can easily get it up to over 20 when you get things knuckled down properly. Your average veterinary transaction fee, or your average, the average transaction or the average productivity fee, whatever you want to call it. So this is the average bill or the average invoice, if you like, for each of the doctors, as a multiple of your exam fee. Should be either 4 times, which is really simple, or 5 times with a bit of hard work. Now, your pathology income, and this is for each of the veterinarians or the practice as a whole, but let's just go for the veterinarians. The pathology income for each veterinarian as a percentage of their gross fee production should be 18%, and with a bit of work and effort, 22%. Discounts, okay. I'll let you run that report and see if you hit that KPI there. 0. Now, let's just go. I'm not going to go on to, I just want to deviate. I haven't got a slide on this, but let me just deviate and just give you some thoughts off the top of my head. Of this data, the ones that my 18% club members track and track religiously and tell me are the best drivers of their practice are this one, dental income, this one, vaccination recall rate, and this one, revisit rate. So those 3 plus pathology income, the one that's there, that's it. Those 4 are the ones that my 18% club members find to be the most useful. Now, these club members, they know exactly where they are from a good management perspective, a good management of their practice perspective, let me say, by just looking at those 4 key drivers for 30 minutes every month. All right, now we get to the extra ones that you can track, or the nice to track numbers. So there are many things that you can track depending on what you're focused on. And remember, you may focus on different things at different times. So for example, you may implement a senior pet program this year. And so to get it up and going and to track it, you may rigorously track the senior pet numbers, or the pets joining your senior pet club type thing, or getting senior screens, whatever it happens to be in your practice. You may track those numbers really rigorously for say 12 to 18 months. But once it's up and running, you may not track it as rigorously anymore, and you may want to implement a feline friendly program. And so you're going to start to track and measure different KPIs that are more specific for feline friendly. But here are some things that I'm going to suggest you could look at. So the first one is the number of new client referrals coming from each average client per year. So what I'm saying is that each new client should refer you between 5 and 10. Each client should refer you between 5 and 10 new clients a year. Okay. The next one is senior pets coming in for twice a year biannual senior checks, and that includes having blood taken for a senior screen. So an easy target is 5 or 50%. 50%. So you should easily have 50% of your pets enrolled in that program. With a bit of work, you can get it up to 85%. Very easy. Now, what should your veterinary productivity, in other words, the euro productivity per hour, the dollar productivity per hour, whatever it happens to be, what should it be? Well, it should be $300 per hour is easy. $400, you've got a pretty good performer, and everyone should at least be up on that number. So how many non-veterinary staff, and by that I mean how many nurses, techs, receptionists, practice managers, groomers, kennel staff, etc., how many of those should you have on shift at any one time compared to the number of veterinarians on shift? And you should have between 3.5 and 5. The closer you get to 5, the more leveraged your practice will be and the more profitable it will be. And then the next one is what percentage of a veterinarian's productivity should come in as imaging, and that's 4%. Now, there's other things you can track, and some simple things are how many urinalyses are performed per patient exam. What percentage of exams have a urinalysis attached, if you like. What percentage of exams have an ear swab taken, a diff quick exam, what percentage of exams, pet examined have fecal exams done, what percentage of your active dog numbers are actually on heartworm preventative, etc., etc. They're just some really simple things. I don't want to complicate it any more than that. There are thousands of KPIs. In the last sort of 10 minutes here, we've covered, 95% of the best of them. Now, my advice to you is to fix 6 of the must track items and 2 of the nice to track items. That's all you need. Don't make it complex. Don't make it hard. Don't add in extra stuff that's not needed. Keep it simple, stupid. This KISS principle. Let's be honest. Vets are brilliant at making simple stuff complex and making simple stuff complicated in complexifying this financial stuff. It's not necessary here. Just keep yourself down and measuring these 8 things and life will be rosy. Now, many of my 18% Club clients, the people that are on this veterinary practice profit formula, road, many of them have pared these 8 KPIs back to just 4. Just 4. That's all they look at once a month. And they love that simplicity. When those 4 get out of whack, okay, then they'll start looking a little bit further or a little bit deeper. But to make sure the ship is heading in the right direction, they've only just got to track 4. Just imagine how quick and easy that's going to be. So that's what they do. So that's it for KPIs, and that's it for this video. The next associated video, part B if you like, is all about your financial data. And if you notice in all the other videos up to now, and most of the things I do, I put an series of action steps in. I've left that to the end of the next video. So I look forward to catching up with you in the next, as they say, I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.